You hear yourself talk anyway.
I know, but it sounds different right now than when I don't have my headphones on.
What's funny is, like, when I started to become, an influencer.
Oh, fuck. Are we live right now?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an X-rated podcast, even though I try to keep it. Can you lean over? Never mind. Hold on. We're not quite there yet. I keep forgetting the accent light is going to make you pop in the video.
Oh, shit, man.
There, see?
Is this why my paycheck was lighter last week?
Yeah, your paycheck was probably lighter because you take more time off than anybody I know.
That's fair.
But getting used to hearing yourself
talk,
it becomes normal. Like, you think of it's normal.
Yeah.
But at first,
it's weird.
I would rewatch all the videos that I make.
Uh-huh.
And so many of them I deleted because I hated the way I said
I don't think I'll be able to watch this. I'll probably have Jamie watch it for me and then let me know if I sound like an asshole.
We'll find out.
I'm like, is this what she hears?
This is probably going to be the most watched podcast that I've done since starting the podcast.
Why is that?
And not for good reason.
Oh, I was going to say, is it because I'm your favorite?
I mean, I would like to think that.
I think as long as we keep it, maybe between you and me will be because I'm your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure all my children know that I love them.
Yeah. I can be your favorite non-biological child.
So first, as many of you know, this is Chase Brady. It's Chase Brady, and like always, we gotta bring in the intro music. Introduce Chase Brady, Coach Double Edge Fitness. And we are here today to discuss some evolving events that are going on. So we're gonna give him a little round of applause. Welcome to the show, pal. Thanks for coming on.
How long and how much time did it take you to create that entrance music?
It's funny, Ryan Key, he asked me that yesterday, and it's default settings on this thing.
Well,
I put
that's
zero
comforting.
effort into that.
Okay, thank God.
I do want to talk with Alex.
Fiki?
With Vicky, because he knows this whole world.
Yeah.
Sound.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's created quite a few hit songs.
He sure has.
And see about creating like a Double Edge official intro. Because I assume that's the same music that comes on all these.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's a banger.
You can make him pay Fiki to do a jingle.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, little hip hop jingle.
Oh, dude, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, be unique to Double Edge.
It would. I will say this is fun. I like the podcast. Do you need a co-host on the podcast?
I love it.
Do we have enough mics for a co-host?
I could do 4.
Okay.
Yesterday, 3 of us in here had to figure out the settings.
Okay.
These things with 2 is great.
Okay.
Even 3, I had the little mic, but a 4th person, I'm trying to figure out with like just podcast only. It's simple, but trying to
you can
YouTube
put like another
video.
chair right here.
Yeah, but then their back would be in the video.
No. We can figure that.
But I do it with like Ryan and Alyssa because they're small. We'll just stuff them in the corner.
For sure. I feel like I would make
both of them can sit right there.
I'm just saying, I think I would make a really good co-host.
Yeah, I'm always down to have people on here.
Okay.
It is really difficult, and I'm sure the audience of Double Edge don't really want to see me all the time.
I like seeing you all the time.
You're not even on social media.
I'm not, but I see you every day.
That's true. But I like getting other people involved in this because, one, different points of view, different thoughts, different voices.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. You just let me know when you have the next guest on, and I'll come.
Monday, CrossFit Code.
CrossFit Code's coming?
Tuesday. Yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna try to get Leo on too. But like
Leo?
Catching up with past coaches, where they're at in life now,
how
they're keeping their fitness together. I mean, Code's crushing it.
How the Achilles is going on Coach Leo?
Yeah, they're like Code, switched jobs.
Yeah.
New deal. Had a baby, got married, had a baby, like a bunch of life events. And
now he's the fucking Flash.
Yeah, well,
he's so fast.
He's still dominating his health and fitness, and that's badass to see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of new dads particularly, but when you add career change, fatherhood, that just kind of let themselves go to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And been awesome watching him just keep ownership of his health.
Yeah.
And just catch up with him.
Very much so.
I like keeping tabs. So, yeah, get Leo on here and see what Achilles tendon rehab's like.
Not great. Long time.
Yeah, he did little sled pushes the other day.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Was he in here? Or
No,
on Instagram?
Our relationship is the occasional text message, like most of my relationships with people, and keeping up with you and talking shit on Instagram.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Okay.
So yeah, all right. So enough of the what do you call that kind of talk?
Small talk?
Enough of the small talk.
The formalities.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'd like to bring Chase onto his first podcast in the podcast room for something potentially more exciting for Double Edge. Well, some people might be excited. That's fucked up, huh?
That is fucked up. But you think you're right.
So,
all that being
as
said,
you guys know,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Chase is getting his master's degree.
It just finished, actually.
It did it. I thought it was Friday. This week. I knew it was this week. But
well, the grades close on May 7th, but I took my last exam yesterday, and then my independent study research paper is all done.
What did you independent study?
My independent study research paper fits really well into our topic. It is improving the health and fitness of night shift law enforcement officers through sleep and exercise modalities. It was great.
Any of them going to listen to it and read it?
I'm going to bring the horses to water, but I can't make them drink. Yeah, so
that's true.
It was, I really liked it. I think it from everything I learned, because it was a whole semester project. I can't say for sure that you'll get to full health as if you were a normal person, but you can do a lot of things to make that hit way easier.
No, I mean, my grandfather worked graveyard most of his life. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because there's more action.
Mm-hmm.
The brass, if you want to call them that, aren't around.
Yeah.
And we got moved up in the law enforcement world as he got closer to retirement, but he worked graveyard the majority of his career, and he had 4 kids, and stable, like successful marriage on all accounts. So I do know it's possible, but you either get used to just a life of no sleep and you overcome, and you still train like a freaking freak.
Yeah.
But there is ways to optimize. You just have to prioritize in a much different fashion.
For sure. And I think, I mean, my paper only focused on the sleep and the exercise portion. There was stuff that I read that pertained to like mindfulness training, so like breath work, all that. And then there was stuff like obviously tons of nutrition stuff. But
this could be another podcast.
That could be a whole other. I could bring the paper, and it'd be a great podcast. I think it would take probably a good chunk of time, but
no, I mean, we have quite a few people in the gym that work graveyard, and obviously I do the program with Washoe County Sheriff's Department.
Correct.
That could be very valuable information for their whole onslaught of people.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's nice too is it doesn't only apply to like law enforcement.
No, anybody doing graveyard.
And anyone doing shift work in general, right?
And this is a shift work town. So.
It is very much so. Yeah.
So as you guys, I'm sure everybody knows that you're getting your master's, just finished up. And with that, I've always kind of known Chase was going to be pivoting in different directions. As much as I was hopeful, master's degree in exercise physiology, I could groom him into running the gym or something along those lines and growing down the road of Double Edge. But other things have come up. And these things have caused my jaw to hit the ground because you got a master's degree in exercise physiology. We were talking about physical therapy school, chiropractic school, PhD, becoming Professor Chase, doing research. Yeah.
Well,
so why don't you go ahead and spill the beans?
I think the best phrase I could introduce this with is, my father has a great line, and he says, "You plan, God laughs." And I think that's very, very true to the circumstance. So as you guys know, as Derek knows, for the longest time, the plan was I was going to do grad school and then turn into some kind of professional degree, whether basically no matter what, someone would have to call me doctor.
Is that like an ego massage?
Yeah, it's a big ego massage.
Right.
And I think it came from the stance of I genuinely love exercise physiology, strength and conditioning physiology. Like that is my bread and butter. It still is to this day. Like, I mean, I just finished a damn master's degree in it essentially. But with that being said, talking about the sheriff's department, we have a lot of sheriffs that have come through the walls. Some have stayed, most have stayed. Good chunk.
We I would say
yeah,
pretty stacked gym when it comes to law enforcement.
Yeah, we're definitely the safest gym in town.
Yep.
And
multiple reasons, not because I pay for my coaches to get their CCWs and stuff.
No, America. Fuck yeah. But I'll go all the way back to where it started. Last June, I looked on the Washoe County Sheriff's website, and I'm just kind of looking at all the stuff they do. As mainly, it started just to like get to know all of our sheriffs in the gym a lot more, because we have so many that I was like, I might as well try to get to know you guys more and have a better idea of like what you guys do. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, they do some cool shit. And it kind of prodded at me just a little bit, but in my head I was like, no, I'm going to go to PT school, and I can help them. Like I'll go to PT school and I'll help sheriffs and I'll help, whatever, and that'll be great. And then it still kind of was nagging at me just a little bit, and I first brought it up, unfortunately, sorry honey, not to my wife. I brought it up to my godfather Perry when we were in Hawaii, and I was drunk off of pina coladas. And yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, but exactly. I had a couple pina coladas, which I love, and I brought up to him, and I was like, "Hey, like I've been thinking about like the sheriff's department. I don't know why, it's just been like on my mind, and they do a lot of cool shit and all that stuff. Like it's what I'm thinking of." And the best advice he gave me was, "Hey, keep going with school. You're not going to finish your master's degree," which is true. I was not going to finish it.
Halfway done.
Correct. And if I'm not going to be called Dr. Brady, you guys, I want to be called Master Brady, or Master Chase.
The word that comes to mind is not that, but
yeah. I understand. I got to start saying Master Chase, not Master Brady, because it does sound a lot like the other one. But he was like, "Hey, finished grad school, go through this next semester and see how you feel. And if it's, hey, I still like want to be a sheriff, then look into it. If it's, no, that was just a little flighting thing, okay, well then now you know." So next semester starts rolling by, and I was taking a sports supplements class, which was really interesting, and I was taking a biomechanics class, which if could best be said as the most mathematics you will apply to the human body. And it fucking sucked. Still got an A, but it was lots of anger to get that A. But throughout the entire semester, it probably what made it harder for school was I was spending a lot of time thinking and looking at the sheriff's department and what do sheriffs do in general? What does all it entail? How would I go to here? What would I do this? How does that work? And I started to get like enamored with it. I was like, this is fucking rad. And to bring religion into it, I don't really openly talk about religion because I want to make sure that when people come to my group class, like I don't put anything out there. It's very fun, lighthearted. We don't talk about anything serious, but
I have no problem getting an atheist fit.
And exactly. So like, exactly. I want everyone fit, atheist, Hindu, whatever. Yeah. But as Derek knows, I'm a very religious person. I'm a very proud Christian. And so the whole semester, I was like, look, dude, God, I'll do whatever you want me to fucking do. And that's how I talk to God, by the way.
I think that's authentic.
Yeah, very authentic. Yeah. My favorite phrase is Jesus is a fucking rad dude. That's the best phrase ever. But I was like, look, tell me what you want me to do. I'll do it. All right.
I ended up here.
Exactly. And so and the more and more as the semester went on, the more and more I was like, I don't really want to do this school thing, because it would have been another I would have had to take physics over summer as an undergraduate physics class, 2 classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, over summer. And then I would have to apply, and then I have to do another 3 years of school.
Yep.
And so that would be a total of 10 years of schooling, which would be a lot. And hardcore schooling too. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. And the more and more of that, the feeling of I don't want to do school anymore. I don't want to become a physical therapist. I don't want to become Dr. Brady. The more and more I was like, man, I think I really want to do some of the, like, to go to the sheriff's department. So it was December 18th or whatever, around that time frame. And I told Jamie, and I was like, hey, I've been thinking about going to the sheriff's department instead of going to PT school. And naturally, as any good wife would do, she looked up how many Washoe County sheriffs die per year. I think the rolling statistic is 6 from like 1935. Total.
Yeah,
6
yeah,
total.
Frame that right.
Yeah. Sorry.
6 per year. That's
Yeah, not 6 per year.
steep.
Yeah, no. 6 total from now up and all the way back to 1935. So that instantly put her at ease, especially since a few of them were like heart attacks and stuff like that. Not a lot of line of action stuff. And she was like, okay, well, let's talk about this. So we had a really amazing conversation about it, and she was very supportive. And she said, the one thing that I think you should do is you should go talk to some sheriffs.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, at this gym, we have a whole host, a gold mine, if you will, of sheriffs to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to a few of them, and a few of them were really, really amazing.
And all of them are different areas too.
Correct. And I think the 3 sheriffs I've talked to, I talked to each of them for 3 hours each. And I listed out I had like, I think 24 questions for each of them. Because I've always been one, if I make a decision, I want it to be the most well-informed decision that I can make, especially with something it's this big, you know? And after each conversation, I met with all of them the week before Christmas. And after each conversation, I was like, this is 1 billion% where I'm supposed to be. Like, not a doubt in my head, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so me and Jamie, I typed out all the answers because my handwriting's shit, as everyone knows. And I was like, me and her went over it as a family, and we made it kind of a group decision, even though we already knew, like, yeah, this is what we're doing, but we wanted, make it for sure. And then after that, we started telling people, and Derek found out sooner than I was planning on him finding out. And
father's intuition.
Yeah, father's intuition. And that was a hard day for me.
I remember.
Yeah.
I got tears out of you.
You did get tears out of me. That was a hard day. And the reason for that, not to, make Derek sound as amazing as he actually is, but I think other than people maybe that you coach, no one really knows how critical you are for this gym. Yes, there's a lot of people and a lot of coaches in the gym do a lot of very important things, but I've always said that, like, if you're not here, this gym is not happening. And I think with you and me, we have such a good relationship and such a strong relationship, and I do love you so much that telling you that, and I didn't think you were going to be upset or mad at me, but I think telling you, I didn't want you to feel like, oh, this guy's leaving me because he doesn't like me, or he doesn't want to work here anymore. He doesn't want to do this, or, that it was some kind of personal issue. And I think that was my biggest concern, is because I am so thankful for all that you've done and how much you've supported me and how great our relationship is and how great of a leader you are, because that doesn't happen a whole bunch.
Well, buddy, I love you like family.
Yeah.
And you've grown on me in a massive way over the last, 5 years?
5. Yeah,
Something
5. I started right as COVID.
Yeah. You're the Saturday diehard coach for a few years, and then right into full time.
Mm-hmm.
But we have always had the conversation that I've always known in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, one of my big lifelong goals in this place is to create a business model that sustains long-term career aspirations for people that want to do this as a career.
Correct.
And can facilitate that, because it's not very common in the gym space.
No.
So,
and I'd like to point out that is 100% possible. I really believe it.
I do think so too.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of you coaches like really progress
Yep.
in a meaningful way towards a career projection.
Yep.
But I also understand that hiring anybody in their 20s, going through lots of life change from marriage, buying a house, you know, I'm sure you and Jamie are going to procreate some awesome little kiddos at some point.
Damn right.
And you're built for greatness. Not
Thank you.
saying that can't happen inside these walls, but I've known that you're going to move through things. So, I mean, nothing but supportive because you are literally one of the best coaches we've ever had.
Well, thank you.
One of the best friends I've ever had.
I agree.
Consider like a brother.
Very much so.
And I mean, it's been great.
Yeah.
And what I'm most happy about, honestly, you're still going to be in Reno.
Yeah.
You're just going to become a paying member, which is a win-win for me.
Somehow, yeah, you still win at the end of the day. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But in all fairness, when Chase told me, the reason my jaw hit the ground is because we had been discussing physical therapy and potential ways to integrate a future PT practice with Chris and my wife, and like maybe getting another building and growing like a whole medical section of Double Edge.
Sorry about that.
There's just a lot of other conversations going on.
Yeah.
And then you brought up like, you know, as your last semester, and I was like, all right, what's the plan? Just straight up. And then you couldn't hold it in.
Nope, couldn't hold it in. Nope, can't lie to your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tells me he's going to be applying. It was cool because I didn't get like a phone call for background checks and blindsided by it. So he gave me a solid heads up.
I want to do you dirty.
And it's not something I saw coming. But then, as I told you that same day, I was like, you're exactly what a police department, sheriff's department needs.
Well, thank you.
Like, you have all the right qualities to be phenomenal in that position for our community.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And as I like to believe people know, I'm very, very supportive of our law enforcement community and first responder community. And, you know, when you want human beings like Chase Brady to be serving our community in that capacity.
Well, thank you.
You know, somebody that can defend but care. And I think that's a difficult balance to find.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Well, I think what's funny too is, I mean, I grew up in Santa Cruz County. Like, it's, being a police officer was not something I would have ever thought. I don't have the normal story of like being the little boy who wanted to grow up and be a police officer. Like
Jackson's right there right now.
Oh, is he? Yeah. He like, we didn't have, we don't have any first responders in my family. We don't have, my grandfather was in the Korean War, but he died before I was born. When I was a teenager, I thought about going to the Navy. But then I went to school instead, met Jamie, which was the best thing in my life. So, it felt, when this happened, it was kind of like, oh, this is shocking. Like, this is not at all how I planned, which once again goes back to you plan, God laughs. And I think that's the most perfect example, because now looking at, all the stuff that I can do as a sheriff's department, all the stuff I plan on doing at the sheriff's department, it's like, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, which granted, the reason I didn't think of it sooner is because I was too busy studying sliding filament theory or whatever. But now it's all come to full circle. It's like, yeah, this is the perfect profession for me. And this is what it feels very much so. And I hate cliches, so please forgive me, everyone, but it definitely feels like I was meant to do this. And I know it'll be really hard and it'll be very traumatic. I see a lot of traumatic things. I'm not naive to think that that's going to happen, but
I mean, every job comes with its difficulties, and there's no question that being a law enforcement officer comes with, I mean, your customer base is typically the bottom.
Yeah. Or people who are living their worst day that they could ever imagine.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it is a service that our community needs, and it needs good people.
Yep.
And I couldn't be more supportive.
Well, thank you.
Excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So let's I guess, talk timeline.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's gone next week.
No, fuck. Yeah. Timeline is this will be my last year. So, timeline is my last class will be December 23rd, which I believe will be 12 days of Christmas. So we'll have 12 days of Christmas. And after that, I'll be going to the academy in January, and then I'll have like a couple weeks of where I won't be coaching or anything like that. But just mainly to give myself a break before I go start, a very long career.
Yeah, and those of you from his class that are already thinking the same thing I've talked to him about, he's going to need that little break because his time off requests are going to go right out the window.
Yeah, no time off. Yeah, so also for all my classes, I'm sorry, but there's going to be quite a bit of time off this year or for the remainder of the year. I think I have like 16 days which honestly isn't the worst thing. I think
you only have one more full week. The rest are like partials.
Yeah, I think last year was still my worst.
I stopped counting, bro. I just was grateful when you started planning it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I'm taking this year because Derek is such a great boss and allows me to have my time off. That I'm going to be trying to go to all these like different vacations, camping trips. I know all that stuff. I pull a tag, then I'll go on a hunting trip. Hopefully,
did you put in? You did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We should have done a party tag.
We still can. What did you put in? What's your?
I didn't put in for one, but I've never. I don't know.
We could probably get you on because Jason McDaniels has a party tag for a cow elk and then a mule deer.
Yeah.
So we could probably put you on that. Except you probably have a crap ton of points.
For elk, I have up to 5.
Yeah. So I'm just bringing everyone's average down. Yeah. So yeah, but I'll be, I want to make it very clear that I'm not going to change how I coach. I'm going to make everything's going to stay the same. It's just, on the 23rd, will be my last day, which I'm sure will be a very hard day for me.
Those of you keeping track, it is the last day of April.
Yep.
So we got a little bit of time.
We got some time. Yeah.
But this is how, for me, the guy that has to keep this ship going, this is setting up the perfect situation to be able to meet the next awesome coach.
Correct.
That's going to fill your shoes.
Yeah.
Try to.
Well, and that's the thing. We don't know who the next coach is going to be.
I'm thinking through this differently than I ever have any other coach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's potential of hiring somebody from out of state.
Mm-hmm.
My heart wants to look for the person that, is looking to make this a career.
Correct.
Jason Najilski was one of those great examples of having his corporate life that smoked him and wanted a career change.
Yep.
And being able to work with somebody in that mindset, I guess, different chapter of their life for me as I'm trying to still grow the gym and stabilize the gym. That's the kind of full-time coach I am looking for. And anybody listening to this, if you have coaching aspirations and this and that, we're open.
Yep.
And my plan is to, interview, meet some people, and find that person potentially about 3 months before your last day. And then
or
whatever
sooner, depending on how green they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Depending on, and just for reference, I tend to hire the person, not the experience.
Correct.
Because I can, and Chase can teach you how to coach an air squat and a clean and this and that, but I can't teach you to...
if you fucking suck, you're not going to be a great coach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a personality trait that, I look for, somebody that's warm, welcoming, but can coach. And coach comes with holding people accountable and doing that in an empathetic way, if you will.
Yeah.
So finding the right personality fit for the classes, for the members of the class, and then also all of us amongst us coaches, like working together.
Well,
and it's not every day somebody like Faye comes into your life.
Correct. Yeah. It's very rare. And I think with my classes, especially, I love my classes to death.
I mean, you've been yours for what?
3 years?
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Now.
Yeah. And so whoever we sign, depending on their greenness. Now, for instance, we have a coach that comes out of, thin air and they're they got their L1, L2, whatever, L3, and they've been coaching forever. Okay.
I mean, technically, you barely have an L1 and
I barely do.
you know your stuff.
I know, correct. But if depending on like how many hours they've been coached, right?
No,
If they
experience.
But depending on their experience, that's gonna be kind of dictate how much shadowing they do for me. Or because with my classes, I don't want to leave them with, a coach that's very, very green. I want to make sure that whoever takes over my spot, it's a very smooth velvet transition.
Yeah, and in many ways, I mean, you're the extension of me in the afternoon.
Correct.
I have to leave here around 2:00 every day.
Correct.
So that person needs to be, grown up, somebody I can trust, mature.
Yep.
Understand that this is a real job.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to be. Thankfully, I'm not in a rush for a major shift change here, and we're going to find the right person and vet him out well, and him or her.
Yeah.
And so anybody listening to this, if you know people or have thoughts yourself, I mean, we're both open to having conversations, and also my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so wanted to get this information out.
Mm-hmm.
It's been eating at Chase. He hates keeping secrets like this for a long time, and it's already been kind of trickling around.
Some people know.
So they're just going to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
And here we are. Other things, when it comes to, I mean, Chase helps out with the programming around here.
I was going to say, we can't be done. I was having so much fun. I want to keep on talking to you. This is the most like time we get to actually hang out and talk to each other.
Members might appreciate having a shorter podcast, because the one with Jason, that went an hour and 50 minutes.
I'm just saying that this is about us. This isn't.
My goodness.
This is about you and me.
So we can talk about how I beat you in the Open again.
You did.
Yep. I didn't beat Alyssa, but
no, I will say grad school is not good for your own personal fitness. It is a steep decline.
And statistically speaking, not downplaying the job role that Washoe County and most deputies have, but statistically speaking, I'm probably going to maintain my superiority on the Open.
I don't know, man. I think I'm going to get pretty. I think I got a little more time coming towards my way.
Yeah, I hope you break the curve.
I'm excited. I'm at. So I sent you my
You've made phenomenal improvements.
Toot my own fucking horn, but my M body was 100 and I'm 222 now.
Yep.
11% body fat and 115 pounds of fucking meat. Yeah, I was so
you're like
stoked.
a linebacker.
Yeah, dude, I was rad. That was so freaking cool.
No, that was a great in-body scan.
Yeah.
Obviously, since we can talk about it real quick.
Yep.
Oh, goodness, I just burped a little bit. That was nice. Hope you guys didn't get that in the mic. You established care with my wife.
Yes.
And did all the blood work.
Yep.
And how old are you?
25.
Exactly.
Yep. Soon to be 26.
But as a 25-year-old, you value and think of knowing this stuff, even though you hate blood draws.
I hate blood draws.
Almost passed out again.
I pass out a lot. I want to get close to passing out. It's not a fun experience for me.
But you had a couple, if you want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about
your HIPAA compliant stuff, but you've already talked to me about it.
I don't care about fucking HIPAA. We're fine.
Yeah. So you have to divulge the information.
Yeah, so.
I
have to?
Well, you've already told me all of it. But
it's
because
I see. Yeah, we don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
My total blood cholesterol was high. Yeah, it was high.
My boy liked his fatty foods.
I loved ribeye. I love ribeye and mac and cheese,
and whole
baby.
milk.
Yeah, and whole milk. Yeah, lots of lattes in the morning. But yeah, my cholesterol was high. Everything else was fine. My fasting insulin and all my blood, pretty much everything else was fantastic. Yeah. But my cholesterol was definitely high, which, especially since my grandfather passed away in February from a heart attack, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I want to make sure that I'm a healthy dude, and especially going into this profession I'm going to, where, what the biggest killer seems to actually be metabolic health, based off of the research I did, which I can actually say now.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not fooling around. I want to be able to control what I can control. I can control how much I sleep, if I exercise, and then what I put in my mouth. I can control all of those things. Yep. And so I'm not it's
an interesting concept in society these days.
What the things I can control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repeat those again.
Yeah.
That was new to me.
I can control.
Never heard that before.
You never heard these before?
No.
I can control what I put in my mouth. I can control my exercise, and I can control my sleep.
That's goal. You should write a book.
I wrote a 10-page paper.
Single or double space?
Single.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 40 references.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's hefty.
Did you use AI at all?
Nope. Sorry. Yes, I did only for grammar checks.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I had it, dude, it's fucking scary. Like, I had it played around with, like, I wrote down some thoughts and then I was like, hey, make up some, like, I just want to read what your paragraph sounds like when, like, all this information I provided you. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Like, that's terrifying.
The doctors you see in the next, like,
yeah, dude.
1 to 100 years from now are
Yeah.
going to be graduating with degrees from artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So if you find a good healthcare provider
Yeah.
that was good prior to AI,
Yeah, make sure they're old.
I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it was a very like integrity thing. I couldn't have the paper write my whole paper. I was like, because you can give it. This is off topic.
Yeah,
but you can give it like your references.
mm-hmm.
Be like, hey, write something. And
Oh, dude, it's
freaking
nuts.
toof, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's actually good. That's
Yeah.
the scary part.
No, I mean, I use it to write blogs for the website because
Yeah.
Google SEO needs current content. And
Yeah.
from a time standpoint for me, like I put in there, what I want to write about, and then it cranks out something pretty damn decent. And I'm just like, that would have taken me 3 days to compose.
Correct. And with me, when I write professionally, my grammar and my spelling is pretty damn good. It's very different than my texting grammar and my texting spelling, where I just kind of let that fucking
And you're
thing
just
fly.
general talking.
Yeah, and my general talking. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, I don't curse when I write professionally, guys, just in case you're wondering. But I did use it to help with that little bit. Like, hey, I need this sentence to be a little bit more concise. I'd like it to. Can we make? How would you recommend it? And then I would read the recommendation, be like, okay, I actually like that, and then I would fit it in there. And it was much more. I wanted to use it as like a tool, not as a way to write my whole paper. So,
100%.
but to get back on track,
Yeah.
Once again,
was high.
you can. Things you control are your sleep, your exercise, and what you put in your fucking mouth. Right. So
Yeah, he emphasized that one.
I did, because it's true. And I think going into a profession where I need to be able to control the things I can control and I know the things that I can't control. Like, I want to make sure I'm really fit, really healthy, and I sleep really well. Granted, however much sleep I get on graveyard. Knowing that my cholesterol is a little bit high, which great in the grand scheme of things. That being high, it could be a lot worse things that could happen, right?
No, and you're nothing sticking inside your arteries yet. 'Cause
Correct.
Your overall metabolic health is still solid.
Correct. So, but it was still controllable. And so I talked with Cassie, which if anyone is questioning on whether or not they should go see Cassie, you 100% should. And the reason for that is I hate going to the doctor, because whenever I go to the doctor, I feel like I'm just a piece of meat. I'm a little paycheck. I'm a freaking, you see me, you do whatever, and then you get me out of here. And I also just hate being in the doctor's office. And my big thing was, like, they don't ever feel like they take their time.
No.
And so with Cassie, literally met for the first time for an hour. The second time I think was for another hour. And it was and she went over every single damn blood marker.
And explained it.
And then we talked about, because I looked at it as like a test. I'm like, okay, here are my test in results. Now I need to test out. And so what's the intervention that I'm going to do? So I've been, my fibers through the roof.
Yep.
My saturated fat's down. And and I've started taking supplements too, which has been great. And it's amazing how much better I feel. Like, I'm stronger. I'm putting on muscle mass. I'm losing fat. And like, I'm putting on more mass in general, which I wanted to do, because I think it's a lot harder to wrestle someone who's 230 versus 205 pounds.
I'm at victim weight.
You are victim weight, boy. Yeah. So I wanted to get to a heavier weight, but I wanted to be healthy, and I'm doing a freaking great job. So going to Cassie and seeing what I needed to implement, it's been fantastic. And I have a lot more energy. I'm sleeping a lot better.
This is coming from a 25-year-old
Correct.
who lives a pretty healthy life in general.
Correct.
How he was already able to use those insights to dramatically I mean, I've seen it like, just looking at you.
Thank you.
I also think getting done with school has helped a little bit.
Well, especially now. Yeah.
You've
Especially
definitely trimmed up, got fitter.
Yep.
And are a force to be reckoned with now.
Yeah. Big piece of meat.
Big piece of meat.
Big piece of meat. Yeah. So I think, and I want to empathize with people who like don't like going to the doctor's office because of all the things I said, right? They're too fast. They don't like pay attention to you. They don't listen. And the other big thing is like, you don't want to find out if there's actually something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big one that I've always had. And I think going to Cassie and understanding like, hey, there's once again, there's stuff that's in your control is very empowering. So I can change my food and I can make sure that and I can start taking supplements that I know will help my body. And sure as shit, they are. Or at least I can feel that they are. I have my retest in the end of June. So
what you do, 4 months?
I did like 4 or 5 because I wanted to go into programming. I kind of wanted in my head, it was a perfect world where I did my test in with my blood work at the start of the programming that I make and in body. Well, I did.
You did January.
I did January. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I want to go all the way to can we test out here after I've done like all these things? And she's like, yeah, sure. That's great. And so maybe we'll have another podcast. We'll go over my blood work again.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, people hear from me all the time about blood work and this and that. So it's cool to hear from somebody else, especially somebody who is looked up in the gym, is already a pinnacle of health, who is using this information to optimize and be very proactive in your prevention, especially with career change.
And I think too, my mom is phenomenal about getting her yearly checkup.
Yeah.
My dad has recently gotten better, which is great. Yeah. But it's like, I want to and I think some of the parenting from my dad kind of trickled over to me. Like, I don't want them to find something wrong. I don't want them to do this, but it's like, okay, well, I want to make sure that I'm also just being generally healthy. So it's not, I'm looking at it now as more of a way of like, hey, I want to make sure I'm healthy versus, or if there's something I can do to be healthier. Yep. It's a very much like a growth thing, find it as opposed to them finding something wrong with me.
Well, I think what's also cool, obviously I front load this with, I know she's my wife and I'm going to be her biggest fan.
As you should be.
But
she's great.
You're not just looking into a bucket of charts fitting in within a box. Like, she's looking at it with a very critical eye, age, lifestyle dependent on where can we optimize your health.
Well, and I think she also understands, and I think that was a big part for me is, do you understand an athlete?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand how an athlete's body might be different than a normal person's body?
Yeah, because a lot of physicians don't get to see folks like us.
No, and it's like I've had physicians tell me before, like, hey, you shouldn't lift heavy weights because if you do the Valsalva maneuver, which is true, if you do the Valsalva maneuver too intensely, then you can pass out. So you shouldn't do that. Well, it's like, and this was told to me by a, frail 80-year-old, nurse at the health center at UNR. And I was like, all right, this was pointless. And I was like, what am I doing here? She's like, your heart rate's really low. It was like 55. I'm like, yeah, I work out. That was when I was working out a lot. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I work out freaking 15 hours a week. What are you expecting me to be? So I think for me going to Cassie, I'm like, oh yeah, I know who your husband is. I know, like, what, I know you know your stuff. There we go. Words are hard sometimes.
And the proper lens to look through.
Correct.
When it comes to things, I still have people who go to a primary care and their creatinine or bun will be off.
Yep.
They don't even ask if it's like, do you take creatine? Stop taking creatine.
Yep.
It literally is a human being that hasn't kept up with any current research of anything.
No.
And doesn't work with an athletic population.
Complacency.
So just like having somebody who knows this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I'd been sending so many people from our gym, and she already had a full panel where she previously worked.
Yep.
And people would come to me, do you know any primary care? I'm like, yeah.
My wife.
Turns out I do. Then I'd always have to backdoor it and say, hey, can you take another patient? When she was already, she had like 2,000 patients or something.
Holy shit.
And
Jesus.
It's impossible, one, to keep up with that many, but that is the state of current medicine.
Well, I think with increased, quantity, quality typically goes down.
Yeah. I mean, lots of times, I mean, when you're seeing 20, 30 patients in a day sometimes, it's hard to do the level of care that she truly enjoys doing. And
Correct.
That's when we finally this deal here in the gym has been on my mind for a few years. And this last year, it just made sense finally, and pulled the trigger on it. And
well, it's also
that's the experience that I know other people are having with
Correct.
her too. And you're the first person I brought on that's actually gone and seen her and who's willing to be transparent about their stuff.
Man, I don't care.
So
open book. Well, I think also not health related, but she also has made us be a lot tidier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the pressure constantly.
Yeah. And I feel your pressure on me. Yeah. Like the other day when the, what's that thing called? Dining room table?
Yeah.
Dining room table was all fucking messy. I was like, oh, Cassie's going to be mad.
Yeah. She's informed me that I need to make sure that I'm keeping this place.
Yeah. Like I see those plaques that we have on there right now. And I'm like, I don't think she's going to like that.
No, I figured out where to hang them though.
You can hang them right here.
That's an idea. I hope to get more of them though. Fill up the wall. Yeah. But no, South has that whole, the windows, they're lined with trophies and success stories. And I got 4.
Well, isn't it kind of like a marriage? What South's is ours too.
I'm willing to bet some of those were, earned.
You gotta look at the fine print on some of those.
It looks cool.
Yeah,
it's nice. It shows history of the gym. It shows people's accomplishments and this and that. And I've just never had, what do you want to call, a shrine of accolades, if you will. And we got 5. I think there's 5. And then Wes and I, in our recent one that we get to add to it.
That was cool. I think you should put them right there. Or, I think they look good right there. I just don't know if, they might not be in the frame.
Yeah.
But
we can start with that.
Yeah.
Get them off the table.
Yeah.
And then I got to get rid of the stuff in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to get all the stuff off the whiteboard because we literally don't use it. We're back office chat right now. I'm sure members are super thrilled about this.
Yeah.
But as you guys know, we do our best, and Chase and I are chief gym cleaners around here.
We are.
We do get some help from a couple other people from time to time, but
correct.
In general, that's going to be another important role that future coach is going to be filling that standard with me of gym tidiness.
That should be part of
Chase does hold a pretty damn high standard.
That should be the questionnaire. Do you have OCD?
Yeah.
Because it fucking helps.
ADHD, because those two combined, make
powerful.
For a mean cleaning crew.
Super powerful.
Yep.
So if you can have directed focus with someone who has OCD and ADHD, I can clean this whole damn gym in 2 hours.
Yeah. We usually pull it off in under an hour each week.
Yeah. That's pretty damn good.
So,
yeah. So just know.
Yeah, there's that. And then restocking the fridge properly.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good pastime.
Yeah.
That's a good pastime.
And everything's perfectly straight and facing the right direction.
It gets me going.
It's special.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah. So that'd be when we interview people or when you interview people, hey, do you have OCD? If it's a little bit, perfect.
Yeah. We just need a little bit.
Yeah. I don't need a lot.
Don't need a lot.
But I need you to have some. I need you to have some.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else, pal?
Want to talk about programming?
Talk about programming.
Yep.
After we got through June?
Yeah. My last week, my programming ends July 3rd.
Yeah. So as always with programming, every time somebody changes, I get the feedback.
Okay.
Every time.
Are you giving them negative feedback?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why? Like people are too sore?
Not bad. Where's the Olympic lifting? Why are we doing so many reps?
Yeah.
I didn't pay to come and do a 5-minute bike test. And that's the only thing.
Oh, let's get the people going. All right.
Yeah. So
I can explain it.
Well, I know. And I just remind people that
Chase has a plan.
And I'll bring up the catch-22 or the, what do you want to say? A valid argument.
Yeah.
I do follow the programming.
Yep.
I'm very diligent in doing group class programming.
You're the fittest person in the gym.
I consider myself to be up there.
I would agree with you.
And like I told Ryan and Carl yesterday on the podcast, I was like, there's nothing super secret and sciencey about my training. I do a little bit of bodybuilding stuff and this and that, and it's not a lot, but I prioritize group class. But what I've done in the last 2.5 years, outside of TRT,
Thanks for putting that in there.
Is mastering consistency.
Correct.
And listening to my body and training at intensity that matches my body
100%.
that day.
Yeah.
And I've gotten really, competent in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing when you're consistent, what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number one thing with any fitness program.
Yeah.
If you're not consistent, it doesn't matter if the smartest dude in the world's writing your shit for you.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't going to do a damn thing.
Nope.
So consistency is key.
When I write the program, when I wrote this program, because we had that, I mean, we did the newsletter for it and all that stuff. But when I was writing this program, the main thing that I was thinking of, like, okay, what would make you the fittest for life? Right. So, and also what do I think might be different than we're used to doing?
Yeah.
Right. And so when I wrote the 9 tests, right, because we had the 5 Metcons and then
I'm just going to tell you that I do consider myself one of the fitter people. I was fucked up after that.
Yeah. It's fucking hard.
I did it. I full sent each one of them.
Yeah, as you were supposed to. And so when I made the 9 tests.
Pretty sure I got a vacation plan for the retest, though.
Oh, that's not good. You can do it a week earlier with me, though. That's fine.
Yeah, there's probably kids I think are sick that week.
Oh, they're sick that week.
I don't want to retest the 5-minute bike, bro. That hurts so bad.
That one was weird for me. I was expecting my legs to blow up. And I don't remember. When I tested the workouts, they were kind of got jumbled up or whatever. I had something going on. I had like a life thing going on that I had messed it up, but I still got them all done. But my like lats and intercostals started cramping.
You're pushing, pulling.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And I was like, couldn't breathe. And I was like, this is stupid. I want my legs to be on fire right now. I don't care about my lungs. I had to
kick my shoes off after that.
Yeah.
And I don't do that too often.
No, you don't. I
was just swollen.
Yeah. Super swollen. So when I made the 9 tests, though, my thought process, I went through all of them. I went through, like, hey, what would be really functional for life? Plus, what do we not do?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, 2-mile run to start, right? Because everyone's like, oh, we could just run a mile. Well, if you can run 2 miles, you can run a mile. And the 2-mile time frame is anywhere from that, like, for the faster people, to got like, what, Code got like 12:35, 12:50 or something like that, whatever. Sorry, Cody, if I'm messing that up. To where we had like people in like the mid-20s. Yeah. So we had that longer time domain for that 2-mile run, which is what I wanted, because I wanted to pair that with the 5-minute max cal assault bike. And that little combination shows me, okay, can this person go really hard for a more shorter period of time? You're just be fucking lucky that it wasn't 1 minute max cal assault bike. You want to try to say pain, destruction, and tears. The 1 minute is the fucking worst. But I want to be like, okay, can you go really hard for 5 minutes? All right, that's pretty good. Now, can you run 2 miles without stopping, and can you run it fast? Right. Well, if you can do both those things, you're probably pretty darn metabolically fit.
No, you're hitting the anaerobic,
maxing
it out, and you're maxing out the aerobic.
Correct. And then now with the Metcons, I wanted to go. The Metcons were also based off of time, right? I had to make sure that all the times were correct. Like I wanted to have something that was a little bit shorter, something a little bit longer, a couple in the middle.
One that fucked your brain up.
Yeah, Tarzan's coconuts. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, the gut rearrangement.
Oh, yeah, that one sucked.
That hurt.
That one hurt. And I suck at front squats in the middle of a workout with other stuff.
Especially those 2 combos.
Yeah, dude, it was rough. That was miserable. Anyway. But I was like, okay, can we do all those things? And when I looked at all the tests, there's CrossFit programming is MGW. So M stands for monostructural movements. G stands for gymnastics. I'm just talking for the general audience. And then W stands for weightlifting. And I wanted to make sure that there were equal parts gymnastics, equal parts weightlifting, equal parts monostructural movements. And there was. Yeah. And that way in my head, like, hey, if I was to give you guys 9 tests where like, if you do really well and you test this on a yearly basis or at the beginning of the test in and then at the test out, you guys got a holistic area of increasing fitness.
And in that testing, which I like, was max capacity, strict pull-ups and dips.
Correct, because that's
Could
also
it have been push-ups. Dips is an easier thing to control, I think.
I think dips too is that goes back. The reason I chose dips over push-ups was we never do dips.
Oh.
And we do a lot of, horizontal pushing. We do a lot of vertical pushing, but we don't do a lot of downward vertical pushing. And that in itself is like, if you want to put a functionality to it, all right, well, I need to push myself over a fence, or I need to push myself over a wall, or I need to push
get out of bed.
I need to get out of bed, right?
Get up out of a chair.
It's a lot of stuff it's a lot of things we didn't do.
And not to mention balancing out the shoulders.
Correct, right? We don't want to always just be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a deadlift max, a back squat max, push press max, and then we have that clean complex.
Yep.
And I chose not to do snatches because
we just finished snatching too.
We just finished snatching, and I love snatches, but I think a lot of members had a hard time with like doing snatch strength work. And so I was like, all right, well, we won't do snatches then, but I will put snatches in group class. And I think one of the complaints that I kind of have seen is like, hey, there's not a lot of barbell cycling, as you just kind of also had told me. So you told me, now I'm kind of hearing a little bit too. And I would agree with you. There's not. And the reason for that is on Jacob's programming, we were prepping for the open. There was a lot of barbell cycling. When in my program, I want to be able to expose you guys to different ways of lifting weights. You have your raw strength test. You have your deadlift, your push press, your back squat. Those will all get you strong as shit, right? So we're getting that barbell in there. You guys will get strong. And we have also the max clean, We also have the max clean complex, which will all get you strong. I want to make sure that you guys can also get strong in various ways, moving your body in different ways, like with dumbbells, with sandbags, with, whatever it is. And I think the reason for that, I know the reason for that is if we're not challenging the muscle tissues, they're not going to change. So can you clean, the 75-pound dumbbells, right? Are you comfortable with that? Can you do goblet squats with the 125? Can you do kettlebell deadlifts? How does your back round over, right? And I think a lot of what's going to hopefully happen is at the end, the people who come the most, they're going to see, oh shit, dude, like I got really strong or I got really fit. So if you have some complaints about the workouts or anything like that, like please let me know. I'd love to be, because my biggest thing is if someone has a question or a complaint or whatever about the workouts, I'm very open. You can talk to me. And I think a lot of what usually happens whenever I hear complaints is they don't know why. And whenever I program, whether it be for myself or for the gym, I make sure there is a why. I don't like doing stuff that doesn't have purpose. It has to have a purpose. Yep. So.
Yeah, and the overarching purpose of Double Edge Fitness is to get you generally physically prepared for everything. Lots of everything.
Yeah.
And being able to, one, be metabolically healthy.
Correct.
Metabolic health is driven by fitness and work capacity. And then being capable of doing stuff.
Yep.
Like, you want to go ski? Cool. You want to go on a hike up Mount Rose? Cool.
Correct.
You want to go take third place at tactical games? Cool. But it was a testament. Like, Wes and I did really, really well, especially on the fitness side of that.
Yes.
We're average.
Pray and spray, but that's okay.
Let's be honest, below average on shooting. But the fitness side, we just do group class for the most part.
Yeah. One, that's
great. Like we're able to show up and compete.
Yep.
And
I think a lot of people too always get one of the things, like when I coach too, all my stuff is like my reasoning for a lot of things goes back to is it going to functionally serve you? So like we can go into belts right now. Like for my classes, no one's allowed to wear a belt at 90% or below. So
that's funny you bring that up because I'm anti-belt.
Yeah.
I quit using a belt after I hurt my back.
Yep.
For a couple reasons. Like I want to feel my body in all these positions.
Correct.
And I don't want to rely on a crutch when I'm moving.
Correct.
And plus, not everybody uses a belt correctly.
Nope.
And I'm not going to put my hand up in your guts and make sure you're doing it right.
It's wrong.
But I'm training for everyday life.
Correct.
I'm not trying to. It has its place in Olympic lifting and powerlifting, and when you're pushing these maximal lifts often, but all of us are training for everyday life.
Correct.
And somebody was asking me about my stomach. I think one of the reasons I have bulky abs is because I don't lift with a belt.
Nope.
Like I rely on my stomach to stabilize all my lifting.
Well, and I think my argument always goes back to, all right, say someone falls.
Mm-hmm.
Say it's your mom. Your mom weighs 150 pounds. You're going to
go get your belt.
Yeah, you're going to get your belt? Really? Say your dad falls. Okay, your dad weighs 200 pounds. You're going to go get your belt? Really? And it's like, no, you're not going to go do it. So, and what's really could be bad is if you fucking hurt your back while you're trying to help someone, right?
You got 2 hurt people.
And now we got 2 people. And then freaking A, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So I am all for the belt at 9% and above, because at that point, we've done so much training that your abdominals and your core is gotten strong, and it's gotten much better at recruiting more fibers to produce a task, that now when you put a belt on, one, your core is already super freaking strong. Now you get a little bit more, it's called IAP. You're going to increase your intra-abdominal pressure even more. That is going to be freaking bonkers. You're going to have a PR like crazy.
No, and a couple of times I do put it on. Like I notice a huge difference, but my PRs are typically 90% efforts. Like, I don't even push the 100% efforts anymore.
Yeah.
But so I love that programming. I mean, that's the mindset of the gym, but it's like what's applicable to everyday life.
Yeah. When I program, I like to have like a lot of variety too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to, like, for instance, when I program, so like I guess the general audience knows, I have 2 pieces of paper in front of me, and they're on a 4-week cycle. And the first piece of paper has it has a list of monostructural movements. It has a list of barbell movements. It has a list of like gymnastic movements, a list of odd object movements like your sandbags, your kettlebells, your stuff like that, GHDs. And then it has a list of dumbbell movements. And when I program, I give each movement based off of kind of what I see as like necessary, an amount of like check marks.
Yeah.
And then when when it's all checked off, or when I see, I haven't done this in a while, then that goes into programming. So that way you guys are getting a lot of variety. And now the other sheet of paper tells me, okay, it has long duration, short duration, moderate duration. And then it has like for times tough, so like rounds and chippers and stuff like that. And then we have EMOMs and AMRAPs and repeating AMRAPs. And then I go through all that and I make sure, okay, we've done a lot of EMOMs, we've done a lot of AMRAPs this 4-week cycle. So I'm going to do more of this, or we did a lot of that last week, so we're going to do more of this. So that way you get a lot more of variety when I'm programming.
Yep. Which I enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy different workout. I tell people, whoever's writing the workouts, you're going to hear from me if I'm not enjoying it. And I don't think I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Don't think either you or my brother ever hear from me. I show up, I coach it.
Yep.
I meet people where they're at with the programming.
Correct.
Like if I have a person in my class that has no reason to snatch and they have a messed up shoulder, I'm not forcing snatching. But that's just me coaching my class appropriately.
You got to provide a modification for what's
yes. Fit. And the one caveat, generally in CrossFit, you're doing a lot of full body stuff. There's some days that aren't full body, if you will. But if you look at the week, I'm hitting everything.
Correct.
Those folks that typically can only get in 3, maybe 4 days a week, if they're lucky, they voice that, showing up to a workout that's, just one thing sucks for them. And obviously I follow that up. Like, our goal, Welded, is written as a Monday through Friday program. That's why there's lean sprinkled in there, which is typically full body stuff.
Yeah, or something to complement.
And so forth. And it's just like, I also remind folks, writing a group class-oriented general physical preparedness program is not going to equally satisfy the needs of everybody perfectly.
Correct. Like when I program for Ryan, like she does group class, 100% she does group class. But it's also, she has her own, needs physically that we have to do, like like running or whatever it may be that she needs to do. So group class is going to get everyone fit no matter what, but it's not going to be perfect for every single person.
No. And one thing that I do like to believe my classes know, because I do this with individuals in my classes, but any of the coaches here, like I work with people. Like if you can only come in twice that week, there's a chance you come and talk to me about it. I'm going to give you a different workout or adjust your day to give you the best bang for your buck of time that you can invest in training that week.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me because you got this work thing and you got to travel and on the board that day for, a 5-minute bike test, let's just throw that one out there.
Yeah.
I am more than happy and have done. Like, hey, you're going to do this, but then you're going to roll right into this.
Yeah. If you're alive still.
If you're alive still.
Yeah.
And I've done that multiple times for people. That's just building that relationship with your coach and your class. And that's something, I like to believe all of us coaches do and willing to do to maximize that person's time. That doesn't mean you're going to get a custom written program every single day.
No.
But when things come up, injuries, modifications, all this stuff, it comes down to a relationship with you and your coach and to maximize your time in the gym the best possible through a group setting.
Yep. I agree with you.
So just keep that stuff in mind, you guys. As Chase moves into his new ventures and stuff, I do like having 2 people involved in programming because it does bring fresh ideas and perspectives from both gyms.
Yep.
And the person that's going to be stepping in at Chase's place on this is going to be me.
Oh, shit. Good luck, team.
Yeah.
You guys been doing single leg toes bar into Turkish get-ups and funny shoulder stuff.
Yeah.
Can you handstand walk with one hand?
I can't handstand walk on 2 hands.
That's
so.
also true. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, so we got that. But I typically work on the other side of this business. And that is my strength in keeping Double Edge, going. But
Alive.
I think I have an aging perspective with training.
I would agree.
That I can bring to the table. And I've had enough questions from folks over the last year that I'm going to, start helping out more in the programming department and just bring some other flavor ideas and keep things going. So there'll still be my brother. And then as Chase is, he's getting all this education, fitness science. I was super excited about being a part of programming.
You can still have me for consultations.
Yeah, you're going to be in the academy. So you're basically useless to me for like 3 months. And then.
Yeah, but after that.
Yeah.
After that.
I know, pal.
I know.
But try to put the members at ease. And then what's cool about that also is if you hate it and you voice your concerns, it's like those come to me anyway. So it comes right to me.
There's no middleman now. It's just straight to you.
No middleman. So yeah.
Yeah. I think you're going to do a great job.
Well, I've been putting quite a bit of thought into both gyms, coaching at both gyms, seeing the members at both gyms.
Well, that's one benefit of you coaching at both gyms.
I am the only coach that consistently, or Tammy,
yeah,
but consistently coaches at both gyms and sees things.
Yeah,
they see things, and constantly trying to improve, evolve our product. I know the community is one of the biggest benefits of Double Edge Fitness, but I also know everybody's here to get fit, and programming drives fitness.
Yeah,
as long as you're consistent. So
yeah. Also, we're going to be using our programming for the RTO.
Yeah, I'm solely relying on group class for the RTO at this point.
I'm going to start running on the weekends, and I don't know when my shorts are going to get here.
Well, either way, I'll get a good long nap in while you're going up Dog Valley.
Yeah. I'm going to have such a great time. Hopefully I make it.
Take your cell phone that works on satellite now.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, lots of things to discuss today. Like I said, Jay said, this is his last year, but we got the rest of the year.
We do. We're going to live it up.
We're really looking forward to, if a coach didn't quit, I wouldn't have Chase.
Correct.
So I try to look at this stuff now with, not with a lost heart, but with an opportunity heart.
Yeah.
Like the next great person to come in and help provide influence and value to people's lives it's an opportunity for them as Chase moves into an area to provide, immense value to our community. So
yeah,
right on.
Well, thank you for everything you've done for me, and I'm excited for at least one more year full of fun and partying.
Yep. And then Well, the open's going to be when you're in the academy. So
I still got a garage gym. I think
well, I know,
get
but
it.
that means I got one more year that probably I could squeeze out a W.
I don't know.
And
I think I can get pretty fucking fit until January.
Yeah, I'm just in my brain. I'm building that up.
Oh, okay. You're mentally preparing for it now.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Great.
Well, it was just me versus you, but then Alyssa came in.
Yeah,
and, like
fucked everything up. She fucked. Oh, God,
yeah.
she's so small and little. See, the problem is that I needed more.
You did. You kind of get screwed in the open.
I
now.
do get screwed in the open. Semifinals, I would have fucked all y'all up.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Open, and maybe it's my own fault. I should be better at burpees, even though I think I'm pretty darn good. But you take Alyssa, who's like 2 inches tall, and she just goes ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I want to put this fucking out here. She only beat me by, I think, like 5 reps.
I mean, I gave her that mulligan on the row workout, so that's how she got me in the open.
That was nice of you.
Wasn't
that it was a vote too, wasn't it?
Hmm?
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, she's fit, dude.
Yeah.
She's fit.
She is fit.
Then I got Faye to contend with now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can have that one. That's exhausting.
Dude, she is insanely insane human.
I don't know how.
And then the accent, she's
so
cool
nice
and sweet. And
So-
just slaughters you.
I know.
In niceness.
You're doing so good. You're fucking 8.
What was the one workout? Was it the coconut one? The ski?
Yeah, Tarzan's coconuts.
Yeah, I did it with her, and I'm like, strict handstand push-ups for me is me doing them now is a huge milestone.
Yeah.
And she's just cheering me on, lapping me. And
it's the
not
worst.
many women keep up with me. Nope, no women keep up with me on machine.
Yeah.
And then there comes Faye.
Yeah. And she's so nice.
So nice.
The first time I worked out with her, we had a great time. I loved it.
She taught you how to do sandbags, didn't she?
She did. Well, she didn't teach me how, but she taught me something different, which was super helpful. Which
Mid-wad.
no, after.
Oh,
After the fact, because she lapped me, and I was like, dude, you're so fast at those. Which I want to be fair, I haven't been lapped in a workout, and I cannot remember how long. Like, that does not happen.
Yeah.
And I love humble pie. Humble pie always tastes good to me. And I got some fucking UK, I don't know what kind of pie they have over there.
Crumpets or something.
Something with haggis or whatever.
Served up.
Yeah, dude. She freaking served it up. But she was so nice. She's like, you're doing great, Chase. Just keep going. And I'm like, I want to die.
Yeah, so Faye was a great find, but she's filling the gap for Jess's evolution in her career. So
Correct.
Everybody already knows that. So this is the next change. So yeah, we're in search.
Yeah.
I got to get my kids.
All right. I'm going to do some lunges.
And restock the fridge.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I'll restock the fridge.
All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Peace.